Hey my fellow golf ball addicts, welcome back to the channel. We are continuing Vice Week 2.0. We've covered the Vice Drive and now we are moving into, of course, the Vice Tour 2024 edition. Let's dive in. All right, so the Vice Drive was a two-piece distance golf ball. We have now, of course, moved to the Tour, which is their budget three-piece option. It's not going to be a urethane golf ball. It still is going to be your plastic blend, but it's kind of an introductory to the three-piece. It comes in that middle price point between your Pro Series, like your Pro Air, your Pro Plus, but it's just a little more expensive than your two-piece Vice Drive line. So it just kind of fits in there, fills in the gap, and in the past, it's been a very good option for really all swing speeds, but just someone who wants to kind of test the waters on that three-piece to see if they're ready for it or not. So hopefully that still is the case there. Let's go ahead and dive into, well, first of all, let's just talk about the price point real quick. The price point on these is still really competitive. As you can see there, $27.99 a dozen, just outright. But if you order them in bulk, 5 boxes, you can get them for $22 a dozen. That's an amazing, amazing deal. Already, $27.99 just for a value three-piece golf ball anyway is a pretty good price point. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's really good. It's really competitive. Getting it down to $22 a dozen is almost a steal. Like, you're not going to find many three-piece golf balls on the market for that type of pricing. Now, granted, you can get like the cut blue still for around that, or the cut gray. But even those have kind of gone up in price over the last few years. Getting a golf ball that's made like this for that price just is kind of unheard of after inflation and COVID. It's really cool to see them still stick to that. Having a price like that already gives you a great start on a golf ball review because now the expectations aren't really quite as high. I mean, if you're offering such a great value, yeah, I want the performance to be great, but it doesn't have to overcome a hefty price tag. So love to see that. Let's go ahead and look at the updated design of this golf ball. So looking at it here, as you can see, they do the Vice as an outline now opposed to just the straight, regular logo. This one actually, they do come in a couple different colors. This one actually has a pink accent, which I really like. Now, it doesn't come in as many colors as the Drive does, and it doesn't come as many cool designs as the Air or the Pro or the Pro Plus. So I wish it had a couple more designs, but it is cool that this one kind of comes in more of a grayish white with the pink accent. It looks really cool. Alignment tool, again, not great. I won't heft on it, but it's I wish the alignment tools on these were a little bit better. But if you feel the golf ball, it feels pretty decent. It does feel like, of course, it's a plastic blend, but it feels like it's tough. It feels like it's going to be able to survive pretty well. They use a DuPont Surlyn kind of mix, which is really good. One of the best ones you can get. Yeah, I mean, really good design. I wish it was a little bit better. This is probably the weak link as far as design goes in the Vice line. All the rest of them have really cool, fun, inspirational, limited editions, but then this one's just still kind of, but they did improve on it from the previous model, so that's good to see. So with that being said, let's get out to the chipping and putting green. Let's see how it does around there. Oh yeah, really good reaction on that one. It does have some spin if you hit it really good. Okay, good reaction there. Oh yeah, actually really good reaction there. So it has a decent amount of checkup. Ooh, buttery. Buttery, buttery, buttery. I like that. Really buttery. Okay, complete miss hit by me. Holy cow, my goodness, look at the ball roll. Okay, I'm gonna have to take a little off here. There we go. With the blade here. Okay, not bad. A little heavy. That one was a little better. There we go. That was beautiful. Really nice. Okay. So the first thing I noticed when I was using the Vice Tour around the green is that it still has a softer feel than the original Tour does. They've kind of softened this line up. I noticed it with the Drive as well. It is a tiny bit firmer than the Drive was. However, it still has a little bit of bounciness to it. It has a nice firm press, but it feels soft. The golf ball is a little firmer than the Drive, and it also has a little bit more spin than the Drive, which I would expect. A three-piece compared to a two-piece. Now you're starting to see the ball kind of wobble left, depending on how I do it. If I open the face, it'll go a little right. If I hit it really well, it'll actually kind of stop a little bit, which is nice. Still not a ton of spin, not, you know, tour level, urethane level spin, but it actually does check up pretty decently. So if you're an all-rounder, you know, just a weekend warrior trying to do this, it's going to give you some play. It's very forgiving on its spin. It's very forgiving on its mishits. There's a lot of feedback to let you know. That was the thing with the drive. Drive offered a little bit of feedback for that. Not the case here. You mishit this one, it does kind of tell you. It's not obnoxious about it, but it lets you know just fine. So with the wedge, I was actually really impressed. Again, a lot of fun, which was different than the old model. And putting with this golf ball, a little bit of a curveball. I wouldn't have expected this. So putting it, we'll start with the blade putter first. The blade putter, it feels a little heavy coming off. It feels like a louder click. The drive had like a kind of a small click. This one's a lot louder of a click. You can definitely feel it in your hands. It's not gonna feel soft by any means, but it has a really great roll. It really comes off the club well and rolls long. I mean, I had to kind of start taking a little off, which is what you want. I like to see that. However, what really surprised me was the fact that then when I got the mallet putter, I mean, the golf ball felt buttery. I'm talking like Titleist Pro V buttery, you know Maxfly Tour buttery, Strixon buttery, like these really high-end golf balls that have a really phenomenal feel around the green. That's what I felt. This is the type of golf ball I could putt around the green and really have a lot of confidence with. Felt amazing. I mean, I would say a 10 out of 10 on feel with the mallet putter. Every putter might be a little different, but if you have like a Spider or one of these heavy mallet ones, this golf ball just has a little slight firm click you can hear, but boy, it just feels like butter coming off of it. So really impressed there, Vice. That's something I did not see from the old models. And again, you know, alignment tool, I briefly touched on it. I was hoping with it being pink that maybe it would come up a little bit better, but it's just too difficult to tell if you mishit it or not. So I'm not super big fan of that. All right, good to see that. Love to see that around the green. And also, again, the feeling of this golf ball transferring to the clubs as far as your irons and woods, really good. Like I was just saying with the chipping and the putting, it continues that style of feel. It's a little bit firmer, not quite as much bouncy ball effect, but there's a little bit there, whereas the old model, there was none to be had. It felt kind of dead off the club. It felt like there was no spring. Not the case here. This has a really good feel to it. When you hit it well, you can feel that little extra spring off the club, and it becomes really fun to hit. So love what they've done for the improvement there. It's a small improvement, but it's one that really helps the golf ball out. So let's dive into these numbers. I hope they're really, really good. Let's start off, of course, with the 50-yard pitch. This is spin RPMs. And of course, that's 8,151. That's a great start. That's above average. Anything over 8,000 is kind of what I'm looking for. That's what I see in most tour golf balls, you know, Pro V1, Chrome Soft, Chrome Tour, TP5. I want 8,000 or more because that's going to stop on a dime and even maybe come back at you a little bit. So being over 8,000 with the Tour model, again, great value, great price point, and I'm getting that type of performance. Again, off to a great start. Let's dive into the 9-iron now. Spin numbers, 6,897. That's right on line with what I've been getting with the new, so that's average, but still a really good number. 98.8 on your ball mile per hour speed. You know, I felt like the golf ball was jumping off the club, but to see the numbers translate to that is awesome. More on that in a second. 127.6 on your distance, 127.3 on your carry, 23.7. So it actually launched mid. It didn't launch super high or anything. Those numbers are incredible. Those are very, very nice numbers. I can't imagine them getting too much better than that. To give you kind of an insight, if you're new to the channel, my old numbers, the average was around 93 miles per hour with the 9-iron. I have learned how to swing the club a little bit better, but that's insane. My swing mile per hour speed is still close. I mean, very close to what it used to be. So this golf ball is just popping off the club. 98.8 is insane for me, and it translated. It translated into distance, which is really cool to see. You know, one of the big things Vice has advertised this year has been the increased ball speed. Like, hey, you're going to get increased ball speed. We guarantee it. Like, I've gotten some emails from them. They're pretty hefty, and they're pretty serious about, hey, you're going to see massively increased ball speeds. Well, so far so good, because 98 is unheard of for me with that type of club. Let's hope it continues here. Let's get into the 7-iron. We'll start off with the spin, 5,893, just slightly above average, which is perfectly fine. It will stop on the green. 114 ball mile per hour speed, which my average is 110.8 right now. That's highly above average. That's actually the best I've gotten so far with the new launch monitor. At 114 again, just unheard of for me. My old average was 107. Yes, have I learned how to swing a little better? Of course, yeah, I have. I've been taking lessons and stuff, but 114 is insane. That's not normal. It's getting 113 with the Chrome Tour was out of this world. Now seeing 114. The balls this year have really brought the ball speed. Like, they've really just said, hey, hold my beer, and that's really cool to see. 159, 157.8, 19.5. It actually launched high. That's a little high, actually, but I got to say, I don't mind it. If you're going to go that far, you're going to have that type of spin, I don't mind a little extra, loft up in the air. The Tour is not a Tour golf ball, despite that name. It's more of a budget, so it's still going to be for guys who need help getting the ball up in the air to a degree. So that's kind of everything I would want it to do. So again, near perfect, if not perfect 9-iron, near perfect, if not perfect 7-iron. Let's hope this continues into the five hybrid, 5,532. That is a great amount of spin. That's actually very, very high spin compared to what I've been getting with this new launch monitor. 125.2. Again, unheard of. My old average, 120. Massive gains. I'm averaging about 123 right now, so it is above my average even with the new launch monitor. 181.2, 179.7. And again, this one launched really high with the hybrids, but when you're getting that type of ball speed and spin, who cares? That's amazing. This is going to allow my 5 hybrid to essentially go really far, get up in the air, spin a lot, stop on a dime. One of my problems I have with a hybrid usually is if it hits the middle of the green, it's at the back of the green. I mean, it's just hard. It's hard to get a hybrid up in the air and get it to spin a lot sometimes. Not the case here. This is going to stop pretty close to where it lands, which for a hybrid, my 5 hybrid specifically, 23 loft, it's tough to do. So I'm super, super impressed. I mean, really impressed. Let's just keep this rolling. Let's go into the driver here. Driver spin, 2,459, a little higher there, but that's not bad. That's kind of what it was doing with the hybrid as well. 234.6, 141.8, excellent ball number. Now, that's not record-breaking like the last few have been, but it keeps up with it. It's still a good number, good 7 out of 10 number, maybe an 8 out of 10, love that. 225, and then 14.3, it launched just slightly above what I've been getting, but that's my normal, launch for the past, few years on the channel. So the driver is the weak link out of those, but our weak link is a 7 or an 8 out of 10. So really amazing numbers here. This golf ball is going to be very high on the list. There's no way around it. We know it has a great value score. We know that it has cool designs. We know that now it has 3 clubs that are basically a 10 out of 10. I mean, there's no way this golf ball probably isn't in the top 10, but let's go ahead and dive into the durability real quick to see how it does there. Looking at the golf ball, you can see some dirt marks and stuff, but most of those clean up. Really, my main thing is feeling this golf ball, and there's no cuts. There's no cuts. Like I said, they're using a DuPont Surlyn. It's one of the tougher ones. I've never had a DuPont Surlyn golf ball not be at least an 8 out of 10 on durability. I mean, it's just phenomenal. And again, the same thing here. Cosmetically, it does look a little banged up, so I'll probably put it around an 8 out of 10. But as far as feeling it, affecting the ball in any way, it's not going to happen. It feels really good. So love to see that. Just another thing Vice does really, really well. So I guess we'll move into closing thoughts here, which is, wow, the Tour has always been a golf ball that Vice has made that has been toward the bottom of my Vice list. It's always been, from worst to best, it's always been Vice Drive, Vice Tour, and then, Pro Plus, not for my swing speed, and then Pro Soft, and then Pro. That's how it's always been for me. This is always one I'm just like, hey, yeah, if you need a good introductory ball at a low price, go pick some up at Walmart. Not the case anymore. With this updated 2024 model, this is Vice saying, hey, we want this golf ball to matter. We want it to be relevant. We want it to be eye-popping. We want it to be in the same conversation as that 3 Pro line. There was a lot of comments back in the day on the Tour review about like, oh, well, dang it, I thought this was the Pro because it's called the Tour. I thought it was the Pro line. I'm so disappointed. And then I've heard people in actual conversations say like, yeah, the Tour, I'm the 3, the big 3. Pro Soft, Pro, Pro Plus, that's what I'm into. Well, now the Tour is a real contender. Now granted, I have not tested the new Pro Air or the new Pro or the new Pro Plus, but I have a hard time believing they could be very much better than this one. This is such an amazing performing golf ball. Wow. So after crunching the numbers here, figuring out what all this means, There's really not a weak link to this golf ball other than the driver, and those numbers are good to great. They're just not amazingly fantastical, you know what I mean? So with that being said, the Vice Tour 2024 model is actually going to get put at number 4 on our top 100. Now, I know this is kind of weird because we've been reviewing new golf balls with a new launch monitor. I swing the club a little faster. Now all of a sudden we've had the Callaway Chrome Tour come in and it's number 3. We now have the Vice Tour, I'm telling you, is number 4. I get the idea that, like, hey, Nick, what's going on here? Are these really that good, or are you just kind of putting them in the top 10 willy-nilly? I first kind of thought that too. I was like, what's going on here? How do we have 2 top 5, top 3 golf balls in 2 weeks of reviewing with a new launch monitor? But after a lot of analysis, after a lot of really critical thinking about it, it is what it is. I always tell you guys, the numbers are the numbers. I try to put as little of opinion into this as possible. I go out, I hit the golf ball, I tell you what it does. I go out, I hit the golf ball, I tell you what the numbers say. I try not to really just say, oh, my opinion, because everybody's got opinions. You know, what I'm trying to tell you is, hey, I'm a 95-mile-an-hour swinger with the driver. This is what the numbers are. So all I can do is get evidence, you know, get metrics, show you what it does on camera, and then present it to you and say, hey, this is what we're working with. Here's the numbers. If you're a longtime follower, you know these numbers are insane. If you're new to it, you might be like, hey, I don't really know if the numbers are insane or not. I promise you they are. They're insane. So I have a golf ball that has amazing value, great durability, cool, you know, not as many as I'd like, but cool designs. Really one of the biggest hindrances of it is the alignment tool, which is the least thing it's the smallest mark on a golf ball I can even give. But 10 out of 10 9-iron, 10 out of 10 7-iron, 10 out of 10 5 hybrid, doing everything I want. Then driver, 7 or 8 out of 10. I mean, that's the weak link, is a 7 or an 8 out of 10. It's just incredible. So there's no other place for me to put it. Now, granted, I am excited to try some of these other 10 golf balls that were on the list previous and try them with the new launch monitor, try them with the new swing. But for now, there's just no other place I can put this golf ball. It performs amazingly well. Vice has spent a lot of years, obviously, developing it. And, you know, I got to give Vice credit because I see this all the time. Golf ball companies come out with a golf ball every year when they're trying to find their groove. Mizuno's a good indication of this. They come out with a golf ball every year. They try different stuff. They test it. They let it see how it does. And then they make big changes the next year and float it out there and try it and see what it does. Vice waited. Vice, you know, kept in the lab, kept designing, would not accept anything other than perfection. And yeah, it took 5 years to come out with a new model. But look at what the result was. I have to give credit for that. It's just incredible. Not a lot of companies care about that. There's so many companies that would have said, no, marketing, let's get the money, push the new model out. You know, if it's okay, whatever. Vice said, hey, we released the Pro Zero, didn't do that well, it's gone, period. Let's not double down on it, it's gone. We love, you know, the Pro Series, we'll change one of them Pro Air, we'll revamp it. The Tour, we'll revamp it, boom. This is gonna make them a lot of money, period, it just is. Everyone's going to be raving about it. Everyone's going to be loving it. Mark my words. So, sorry for the long rant there, but again, I'm super excited. I love testing golf balls, and my expectations for these Vice golf balls were very high. And so far, the drive beat the expectation. They did good. They changed a couple things, but this gets me really excited because it gets me excited. One, because now I know the Tour is incredible, but also, how is the Air going to be? You know, how's the new Pro going to be? How's the Plus going to be? We're getting ready to find out really soon. I'll see you guys either tomorrow or the next day for the Vice Pro Air. I know that's the one a lot of you have been waiting on. I'll see you then.